It's Halloween on Intentional Living.
The thunder is going. My dog is cowering.
It's a horror film in the making.
And we're brewing up a spirited conversation with good witch and psychic medium, Patti Negri.
There's my doll, Belle. She's my little haunted doll. She moves around all the time.
I feel like spirit's going to come through.
They do have so much to say.
From ghost hunting.
I won't have a dark spirit in my house. When they get in, you get out.
To speaking with spirit.
There's probably spirits sitting in here with us right now. What would they want us to know about the other side?
It's a deadly delight.
Just wake up. Wake up.
On an all-new Intentional Living with Courtney Meyers.
Welcome to Intentional Living with Courtney Meyers, a podcast dedicated to those seeking a more fulfilled and purposeful life through thought-provoking conversation, spiritual exploration, and authentic connections. The intentional movement has begun, and if you found yourself here, you are a part of it. Intentional Living with Courtney Meyers starts now. Hi, Patti. Welcome to Intentional Living with Courtney Meyers. I am really excited to talk to you today. This is kind of like a treat for me. I think this might be one of the more self-serving episodes I do. I know they all kind of feel that way, but I'm just going to kind of geek out on our conversation because I love what you do.
So much. Geek away. This is great. Thank you so much for having me on. You have such a great spirit. This is going to be fun.
It is going to be fun. It's so crazy because it is raining, pouring down here in Tennessee right now. And it was only supposed to be a light rain, but since I've turned on the camera, the thunder is going, my dog is cowering. It's I feel like we're in this perfect place. And I know we're not doing a full on seance or anything like that, but I mean, I feel like spirit's going to come through. And to me, what you do as a medium working in the ghost hunting world, all this stuff is so fascinating. It is so scary to so many, but since I was a little girl, I've been so intrigued by it. Yet so many people are so scared. What is it that scares us so much about, the psychic messages and connecting with the other side?
Well, I think it's just because humans naturally are afraid of the unknown. And it's the unknown, no matter how much you study. I mean, I have a spirituality school. I've studied this my whole life, and it's still the unknown. We have philosophy, we have ideas, we have my perception, my this, my that, all these different. But it's still we can't grasp on and do so. That's scary to people. Plus, what Hollywood, again, you work in Hollywood, I work in Hollywood. What Hollywood has done, just like you watch the news, and it's all the bad news. They don't show you the good news. On our ghost show, Ghost Adventures since 2015, and now I'm also working with Ghost Finders on my Paraflix network. You don't go to the fun places where the ghosts are hanging from the chandeliers because they had the best night of their life. No, you go to the prison, you go to the insane asylum, you go to the place where the serial killer lived. That's who I'm channeling. So, Hollywood did that because that's the human hunger is for, just want to know, even though you're scared, you want to hear the dark. But ghosts, most ghosts are nice. You go, or spirits, whether mediumship, whether you're going ghost hunting, or I'm just a nice one-on-one mediumship, or, 12 people around my dining room table for a seance, or 1,200 people at a gallery at a casino. Most people are nice. Most spirits are nice. Again, it's just we focus on the ones that aren't.
Well, I think it's so funny that you say that because we're scared because it's an unknown, but is it really an unknown? Because we all come into this world so innately connected to the spirit world. We are creatures of spirit. It lives on in us. It lives on past us. I mean, science has proven that we are so connected. And as we go through life, we kind of disconnect a little bit. Not all of us, but a lot of us do. And I know you didn't as a child. I don't think I actually had one of the psychic twins tell me that I cut myself off. I saw something around 3 years old and I cut myself off, but I was super connected. And then I've slowly finally found my way back into this space. But, so I know that we can shut it off. Something obviously scared me, but we know, we actually know.
We do. We are no, but it is taught out of us now. Literally, in our modern society, our Western society, non-mystical society, they've even taken the mystery out of religion. We've put all of our focus on left brain logic, none of it on the right brain, intuitive, spiritual side. And we have to have both. Even like in my little local elementary school, because of budget cuts, no money, LA school district sucks. They took out everything except for reading, writing, and arithmetic. The art classes were gone, everything. And nobody from the hills sent their kids to that school because it was the lowest 10% of schools. So the little immigrant kids, it was all this weird divide we did not want. I'm on the board of the Hollywood Arts Council, and let's bring in art classes. We brought in art and dance, extracurricular, in class, volunteers, artists coming in. We brought outdoor classes with tree people. We did not change the reading, writing, and arithmetic teachers, but the scores went up to a school of excellence because we allowed them to go with their intuition as well as their intelligence, their sense of knowing as well as their knowledge, knowing. And we have to have both. But in our Western society, it's 1 + 1 = 2. That's it. Logic. That's going to get you through life. When they take away creativity and art and the magic, I had it. I was talking to the dead since I could talk. I literally did my first seance. I was 7 or 8. I was always obsessed with the other side, but it wasn't morbid or dark. I just knew they had a lot to say. And luckily it didn't get taught out of me because my mom would always go, yeah, Grandma did that too. Grandma did that too. So, it wasn't like, oh, that's evil or it's of a devil of some sort or anything. Yeah, it's part of who we are. But most of us, we do not focus on that. We don't focus on the magic.
Do you think we're going to start shifting into that? Because I know as a parent, I'm trying to do that with my young kids now. And I think that is one of the missing links. I think that's one of the issues that we see across the board today is that we're disconnected from our intuition. We're disconnected from that creative spirit. We're so left brain. We're disconnected from religion. And I don't care what religion that is. We're so disconnected from a bigger purpose or something bigger out there that we suffer in our mental health. We suffer in our schooling. We suffer in all these different ways. And I personally, and it's been an exploration, I talk to almost everyone that comes on the show about this, but it feels to me that this is the missing link. We need to connect back to our true spiritual source and our soul and the bigger purpose, that creativity, all of those things, so that we can really step right back into our fullness. It's almost like something's missing, and that's what's causing these issues. Yeah.
We've lost awareness. Don't go by intuition, it's by logic. And it's early men knew that. That's why I even wrote my book, Old World Magic, Follow Moon Signs. We are 60% water. If you tap into your tides during the waxing moon, if you add into your life, it'll be easier. During the waning moon, if you let go, it'll be easier. But I think we are headed in that direction. And fun of it is very funny backdoor. We know times are scary. Times are scary. The world is scary. Pandemics and wars. Times have always been scary, but they're extra scary now because we have 24/7 bombardment of the internet and everything else. So traditionally, when people get scared, they do go back to faith. They go back to their religion, go back to church, go back to temple. But that's not keeping up for everybody. It's like, but I'm gay and Christians, whatever your particular reason is, it's not keeping up for everybody. So that's for the rise in more alternative spirituality, New Age religion, crystals. Witchcraft is the largest growing religion in America right now because people, they want to know there's something more. If we do all get blown up tomorrow or the aliens land tomorrow. But a lot of people, Courtney, just because they're so that left brain, that's how we're trained, no magic. They go, oh my God, I don't want religion. I don't want to go back to church or temple. I don't even want this spirituality woo-woo stuff, but I want to know there's something else than I see on the news every day. They're becoming paranormal investigators. They start watching the ghost shows, whether they go on. Again, they want to know, okay, if I could figure out a ghost is real, then I know there's something more. So then they get into this paranormal world and then they see, oh my goodness, it is real. And then often they will backdoor into a religion or spirituality or something to help them navigate. It's that simple. So it's almost like paranormal is the new religion to bring you back to some sense of source.
Yeah, it's really interesting, the paranormal, because it's really fascinating. It catches your attention. It seems like, this outer worldly experience. a while ago, a long time ago, quite a few years ago, I dated someone in Hollywood, and he actually had a show about, he was a ghost hunter essentially. And so I went on a couple like ghost hunts with them. And this is when I finally first started to really push myself back into like coming, like I was almost like a spiritual coming out of the closet. Like, no, I believe in this stuff, and being more open about it. Cause it's scary to say that you believe in this stuff, because it's not as well received. Now, I agree with you. I think it is way more well received now. It is way more mainstream to talk about spirituality. I mean, I'm seeing the term witch left and right, every which way now. I mean, it's like, it is definitely more popular for sure. But in that time, even when I was doing that ghost hunting, that for the little period that I did it with him, it was interesting because even my spiritual mentor at that time, now I've had a couple different mentors, but that mentor was just so cautious about the fact that I was doing ghost hunting and how scary it was and how horrible it was. And I was going to come back with attachments. And she was a medium, and she said she refused to work on those frequencies with the dead. She would only go to higher source because that is love and light versus like this dark, and she would come back and she would scare me. She's like, you have a creature on your back and you're possessed by this and all this stuff. And part of me was like, okay, is that real? Can we like take on spirit from like, if you're in a scary spot, do we have those attachments?
We can, if you're consciously out there, to open it up, to open up the veil. Spirits, are you here? Spirits, are we whatever? Or, as a rule, no. If you're living a good life, if you have, where it can happen is if you have a severe addiction problem or a severe mental imbalance, maybe, yes. But if you're a rather whole, solid person, no, it can't. Again, you invite it in, you invite it in. And it's so easy to be protected. Dead spirits aren't low vibration. They're dead people. I believe, there's no time and space on the other side. So they could be up by the pearly gates, if you want to believe in that. They could be reincarnated, and they could be hanging out watching their grandkids grow up all at the same time if there's no time and space. How could that be a dark thing? Again, I think that's just religion talking. Old classical religion talking, was really about control, fear-based control, and just control-based control, versus trust your heart. Does this feel like a bad thing? No. If you go and yell at ghosts, maybe that feels like a bad thing. But if you come in with respect and you come in, I request, you have messages for me, and you do everything in integrity, virtuously, have your own moral code that you bring into it, it's beautiful. And they do have so much to say. So I disagree with her. Again, it is a standard belief system. So she didn't use her intuition perhaps to go inside and see, oh, wait, that is not true for me. Or maybe it was.
Well, and I definitely agree with if you have like an addiction problem or something, you really do see that, and that is one thing that she talked a lot about, is like addiction and the spirit world and those attachments there. And she almost, the guy I was dating actually was quite a heavy drinker. It was to the point where he had a major problem, I think. And she said that he had done so many ghost hunts that he had an attachment of an alcoholic to him that was drinking through him. And that just took it to a whole other level. And I'm kind of like, okay, we are autonomous. We have free will. Well, like we are our own people. But, there is a little bit of that fear-based thing that comes in when you're like, oh, I'm going ghost hunting. But like, what happens when you walk into those scarier spaces? Like, what is the energy like? What are you bringing in? What are those messages that are coming in from that darker side versus the love and light side?
Most of them, if people have something to say, a lot of people want to explain things of what they're doing. A lot of things, again, attachments can get in. You guys, going on a ghost hunt, shut down the portal on the back of your head. We want this open. We want this third eye open. Oh, yeah, so you could see spirits, TML. But the biggest portal on our body is right where our head and neck go together. People don't realize that, but it's sensitive as well. Open that, or make sure, okay, good spirits nobody needs to, unless you're channeling and you know what you're doing to channel, shut that down. That's why when you pray, you bow your head for God, for spirit. That's the one you don't want open on a ghost hunt. So when I work with people, I train this in my school. It's like, Put some oil there. Close it up. Put a sign of a cross, a sign of a pentagram, sign of whatever you believe in, a helm of awe, something. Shut that down. They can't get in. They can't get in. But we have control over that. We have complete control. But people come in with fear-based, and a negative spirit wants you to get scared, or anger. If they have negative spirit, wants you to get angry. Treat it more like be a parent, be a disciplinary. Nope, my house, my this. You don't get it. It's really bad. My best advice for laugh. Laugh is the purest. Number one. It's your breath. When you thinking in your head, not that they can't hear you, but you have no breath. When you say something out loud, leave me alone. I banish you. Again, without anger or fear, your breath comes out. Your breath is your life force. It's your pneuma. So hearing your breath is your life force you're sending it out. And sound is magic. We know that. Music can inspire you. Church bells, music. So your words, I banish you, or I, whatever, I love you. And also besides, so your air, your life force, and the moisture in your breath is your free will. So your free will. That's why some cultures spit like, oh, what a pretty baby. You don't have to spit. But that moisture that comes out, you're giving your life force, your free will. You are making statements. This is my home. This is my body. You are not allowed to come into this. You can communicate with me, or when I do channel, you could have 15% of me, but I'm holding on to the rest of this. And often the ones that don't get dark are not I think the darkest, scariest place I ever was, is the Cecil Hotel in Los Angeles. It is dark. That's the one with the Alyssa Lamb. The girl was found in the water tower. Richard Ramirez, serial killer, lived there. Another serial killer. People thrown out the windows, babies dropped out a window. Overdose. The entire time since the day it was built, it's been like a flop house. It was supposed to be a beautiful hotel. The Depression hit right when it was opening up. So it's always been a struggle place, and it's always been a place with a lot of addiction and a lot of drugs. Something there is so, it is affecting when I've been there probably more than anybody. I've filmed a 2-episode special with Ghost Adventures there. My first time I did a 4-episode with my YouTubers, with my overnight TFIL, Elton and the guys. I just shot a CW show there. You walking up to it, I never knew I was going. Walking up to it, first a rat wouldn't even let me in. And it is Skid Row downtown, but rats usually scurry away and scare you. This one was scurrying towards me. I'd go right, and the rat would go right. I'd go left, and the left. I'm like, are you trying to protect me? Are you possessed? What? But the closer I got to that hotel, I was getting so depressed, so hopeless. So I don't want to live. That's not me. I'm this positive Patti optimist. By the time I got up to the door, there is Zach and the guys going, okay, Patti. They'd been there for a long time and adjusted. They had their cameras strapped on. They go, okay, Patti, we've there's 700 rooms. They're all unlocked. You tell us where to go. And I'm like, I just want to die. And I push the elevator, and I'm like, oh, this is that Alyssa Lamb elevator. Oh, wow. I remember doing that Korean date. And I led them 700 rooms. I led them right to this room. And I'm like, I got to get out of here. I'm channeling because I let myself go the second I get there. I'm going, I got to get out of here. And I walk to the window, and I'm opening the window. And Zach's going, Patti, what are you doing? Sit down. What are you doing? Why shut the window? What are you doing? And in it's very much like a dream state, my trance state. It's like a dream state. I'm thinking, and it kind of goes into a little girl voice. It's like, why is he yelling at me? Zach doesn't yell at me. I just got to get out of here. I'm opening the window, and he finally said, Patti, sit down. So I sat down, and they had an SLS camera with this little ghost green dancing on my head. And of all the 700 rooms, I had led him right to a room that somebody jumped out that exact window. And here I am. He knew that. I didn't know that. I'm going, I got to get out of here, opening up a window that doesn't even have a screen on it. It was crazy. I was totally overtaken. And then I led them, the second room I led them to, all of a sudden, again, my conscious part knows I am Patti and I'm doing an international TV show. The other part of me is like, I'm whoever else. And I'm like, I felt I was being so attacked. I'm like, oh my God, don't go there. Don't go. I didn't know what to do. And hopeless. I didn't know what to do. And Zach's going, what's happening? Where are you being attacked? And the part of me, still conscious Patti, that I always hold on to, it's like going, well, how do you say that body part on television? But I think I say girl. something, but I had led them right to a room where this poor woman who lived there and fed the birds every day had been like raped and murdered. It's crazy, but it's not a ghost that's there. And if you want to use the word demonic, I think demonic is used 99% way too much. They get way too much credit. 99% of what people think is demonic is just cranky ghosts, dark spirits. Not demonic. Demonic, you're going to know it. But this is something I believe like an egregore, so self-created that it is affecting living people that go there, like me or anybody. Even I don't have an alcohol or drug problem. I'm about as stable as you get, more or less. And the dead, it was holding some spirits there. Like Alyssa Lamb is being held there. My next time there was with my TFIL overnight guys, and I was channeling again. We do lots of protection. I was channeling again, and I do rock and I was rocking so hard, somebody had to put their hand behind my head so I didn't knock myself out. But I thought I was talking. I knew I was probably like a druggie or something, but I thought I was talking. All they heard was gibberish, unbeknownst to me. But Corey, one of the guys who's really gifted and I've been working with I work with there he goes, we should play that backwards. They played it backwards. I was speaking English backwards. That's wild. What? I can't even, I'm so non-dyslexic. I can spell my name Patti backwards. Negri, it would take me a minute. I'd have to spell it out. We just speak backwards. I couldn't do it if you gave me $10 billion. They played it backwards. And again, I believe the other side is complete reverse image. And so I've never experienced anything like that. But it's something so dark, I believe that is created from all the evil that's been there, all the darkness been there. There is something underground, that part of LA, who knows, ley lines, ancient Indian burial grounds, whoever. It's been a perfect storm of darkness. And you just walk by it. Anybody who doesn't even think they're psychic or intuitive goes, ooh, I don't like this. But the sad part is right now, and the concept on paper, good. It's downtown. There's hundreds of homeless people. Here's a hotel with 700 empty rooms. They're moving the homeless in. They're already, I don't know that they're jumping out windows, but there's ambulances there every day. If it affects healthy, strong people, a lot of the people they're moving in, some have alcohol and drug problems. Almost all of them have mental imbalances. At very least, they have PTSD from being on the streets. Moving them into this hot box of depression is horrible. Ambulances are pulling up. I want to do a big cleansing. Now the city runs it though. So I would love to out there gather every, I don't know, witch, priest, preacher, rabbi, shaman, holy person of any faith, every faith, healer, Reiki master. I don't care. Hold hand, do a big kumbaya to clear the place because I'm so scared for those people there. So scared. They're already like zombies again.
So how do you justify that? So like if there isn't like, attachments and we shouldn't be afraid of the dead, like how do these places of evil exist if spirit is truly just of the light? And, like you said, most of the ghosts that you would come into that seem evil or demonic are just cranky. So like you do see a lower vibration there. That does exist, you're saying.
There is lower vibration. Yes, there is high realm and low realm, angelic realm, demonic realm. And there are serial killer ghosts or evil who've gone. I think as far as ghosts, I mean, we have the everything else realm, but as far as ghosts, things that were living human, again, most are nice and most people were nice, quirky, yes, whatever we are. But then there's other realms of things that were never leaving, what I call the everything else realm, getting into the elemental realm, the angelic realm, demonic realm, and who knows, extraterrestrial realm. There's all that out there. But as a rule, again, this is the perfect storm of darkness. Again, 100 years of depression, sadness, lack, illness, addiction, did it end. Serial killers, everything. People, so much death in one place. I mean, it's a horror film in the making. So of course evil exists. Of course, as a rule, if you want to go move into the Cecil Hotel, you shouldn't worry about it. But we all should keep our houses clear. We all should keep our body clear. And that's part of what go back to where you started in the beginning, having awareness of who and what's around us. We go through life when we use these phoned in, asleep at the wheel, by rote, automatic pilot. We don't want any of those. I go to work, I come home, I do this, I do that. Oh, I we numb ourselves out with alcohol or television or food, shopping, everything else. Come back, awareness. I'm doing this because I know I'm doing this. I know I ate that box of Oreos, not like, what? At least we consciously choose it and enjoy it. But we're just, we are a form of zombie because again, that society, do what do we say? Follow the rules, get into pattern, great patterns. Where I drive a different way to work every day. If you have breakfast at 8, have it at 7, have it at 10. That in itself, little non-spiritual exercises will bring us back to awareness. Awareness will bring us back to our intuition and that, whether you call it your gut feeling or what your heart tells you to do. Yes, we need that logical left brain. 1 + 1 = 2. Stop at a red light. Go to work at this time. We need the right intuitive, whether that's your spirituality, that's your art, that's your creativity, that's your thinking outside of the box. But science is also now even proving that we have some thinking cells in our heart. And when we say my heart told me to do something, our heart is not even going to be run by our left brain logic or the bad childhood upbringing or our limiting belief system. It's the purest, or our gut. Those are going to be those more base decisions. But we got to be willing to listen to them and hear them. Whether you call that intuition or that gut feeling or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I was going to say that even your heart, science is even proving like we think from our gut. Like that's the thing is when you come across skeptics, which I know you come across a lot of skeptics, and you can't change someone's mind. You can't tell someone they have to believe something, but it's really hard to ignore the science. When the science comes out and is proving the spiritual world, it's kind of like, are you kidding me? Like you have to somewhat believe it. And I know sometimes it takes like you get that message from someone that no one else would know. And it's just like, my husband had that happen to him. He had, one of my girlfriends was practicing a mediumship reading and did a reading on, he tragically lost a friend very young. And my friend didn't know this person or anything. And she did a reading and said things to my husband for him as she was practicing that he was just like, okay, holy shit. Yeah, this is real. Like, I don't have any doubt anymore. It was kind of like, I think a lot of us have to have that moment.
Yeah, but and that's why you spirits, I tell them, it's not to prove it to me. What's my middle name? It's just people need that. People need that little, you're the only, nobody knew Grandpa wore purple socks, just so they can have, okay, this is legit. I have spirits tell me something like that, just so people can, not listen, not spend the whole session going, are they making it up? How would they, so it's perfect what your friend did.
Yeah. Well, and even but you're saying is like, we have to come back to this awareness. So many of us are doing life how we're supposed to do it, or what is being told that we are living on autopilot. We're walking around as ghosts. We're zombies. We're not living and experiencing life. And I would imagine if you're talking to anyone on the other side, they're going to say, that's not what we're here to do. We're here to experience life for ourselves. We all have our own unique journey and we have to be aware and present. But like, there's so many distractions, whether it's fear that's keeping us distracted or whatever it is. Like, there is a point where we have to bring our awareness back to the here and now. But it's so hard to do. And I love what you're saying is like the simple things, like eat breakfast at a different time, walk outside this way, do something a little bit different. I find sometimes the most spiritual things we can do are the most normal, everyday things we do.
Right. And me too. And again, get out in nature. We've become so automated. Our weather is controlled. Our light is controlled. Now we're all having global craziness. So we're getting weather, whether we're used to it or not. But as a rule, we're in this controlled thing. Get out in nature, get cold, get hot, get everything. And again, tap into that height. That's why, to me, one of the best things you could do is follow moon cycles. Like I said, we are 60% water. Everybody says, oh, it's the crazy full moon. Yeah, it's crazy full moon, but that's the time to manifest and make things happen. The next 2 weeks when it's waning, that's the time to go on a diet, quit smoking, because you're going to be released that much better. When you get down to the new moon, the dark moon, that's when you go inside, do some inner work, some shadow work, What do I want now? The next 2 weeks, moon's waxing, add into your life. Ask for that raise. You're going to get it during a waxing moon. We're just tapping into the tides. Early man knew that. Just that much little, whether you call religion or spirituality, doesn't matter. This is nature. It's just nature. And it's all in us. Again, that is exactly why I wrote my first book. It's like, we wake up in all of us. But you are right too, because science and spirituality are crashing together.
I know.
With all the quantum sciences stuff. And paranormal investigation is one of the people making that happen with all the ghost things, where I used to, like, I could say, okay, I'm doing a seance, and all right, your grandma Betty is doing a high kick line on the end of the table. She's doing high kick like chorus girl. You believe me or you don't believe me? Now there's some guy in another room who can't see or hear me. I can't see or hear. He's got an SLS camera, which shows ghosts as little green stick. And Aunt Betty is doing, high jumps on the table. It's like, yes, that's what I've been seeing for all these years. So they're crashing together. It's awesome.
Well, even when you're saying that, it made me realize something I saw on Instagram the other day. A friend of mine posted someone driving through a cemetery. Now, I have this weird fascination with cemeteries, not because of the dark, but like because of the history. I think cemeteries hold this history and this knowledge. And I moved to Franklin, Tennessee, where it's like a huge place where the Civil War was. And so there's like all this real big, like, I just feel that, and I walk outside and I feel like this energy pulse through me. It's really, really, really cool. And I'm a history buff in general. So it just that combined with like the amount of like souls that I know were here and died for our cause. It's really fascinating. But I had a friend post something the other day of a Tesla driving through a cemetery, and they saw this little green person walking through, and there was no one around, but the camera in the Tesla caught a figure that was a human walking by in front of the car. So, I mean, is that like real? And she was like, someone take their Tesla and let me know. Cause she just randomly found it. She's like, is this really happening?
Oh, no. That's a thing right now. The Teslas are doing it. The Teslas, whatever they have that are supposed to find people, are finding spirits. The SLS camera I was talking about was invented from an Xbox. Women started complaining, kids were playing Xbox, and mothers started complaining to whoever Xbox is, saying, these extra characters are appearing on my kid's game. It's broken. Xboxes were picking up ghosts. That's what the Tesla's doing. Crashing together. So one reason it makes me want a Tesla, but other cars will catch up.
That is so fascinating.
Everywhere. Teslas are catching it everywhere. And again, SLS cameras are Xboxes.
Really? So like literally wherever you're sitting, there's spirits like sitting, there's probably spirits sitting in here with us right now.
Of course.
What would they be saying? Like, what would they want us to know about the other side?
I think most are just hanging around. Like, I'm out of my view. There's my doll. There's Belle, for anybody who's video here. She's my little haunted doll. She moves around all the time. I've seen her move 6 inches, this and that, winks at people. And she has a sweet spirit. I won't have a dark spirit in my house. When they get in, you get out fast. They're just hanging. Like I said, sometimes they're floating through, and somebody, you're super intuitive. They're if you're a random spirit going down the street, they're going to look at your neighbor's house and going, they're asleep at the wheel. They are so numb. They look at your next neighbor's house going, oh, they're a super skeptic. I could be the burning bush of Moses and they wouldn't believe. And then they see you or they see me. They're, oh, I have a voice. Or they can taste me. Then it's here. So that's where they're going to go.
That's interesting because
loved ones, relatives, spirit guides, elementals, houses are crowded.
Are they? Yeah, I lost my grandfather. It was April last year, and we were really close. I know, very, very close, and it was hard. But I hadn't seen him for a bit because I had moved and he had moved. It is so amazing to me since he has passed. And like, I used to live like down the street from him. I would see him all the time. So we were extremely close. I don't know how we would be closer unless I lived with him. I feel closer now to him since he's passed than I ever have. I was driving with my husband the other day and I said that to him. I was like, it is strange, but I feel so much closer to Papa than I ever have in my whole life because I don't even feel like I have to go to see him. He's just with me at all times. And I think he's with me because he knows I believe, he knows I can communicate, he knows that I'm open to it. And I don't think he's probably visiting as many people in my family because of that, because they're not going to feel that. Like he's with me because I know he's there.
Right. Exactly. That's what I said. They'll stop at your house. He loves you. You know, you're the fave. He's going to stay with you. So that's, don't tell anybody. You're the favorite. But yeah, they will. And that's why I try to teach people also in that book about what dumb suppers are. Dumb supper you do, it's done all over the world, but not so much here in America. And different religions, even some Christian religion, Orthodox, is 40 days after, that's the transition period. I won't try to contact somebody for the first 40 days because it's actually biblical. It's a planetary thing from here to there. That's the in-between, the liminal space when they're busy. Jesus 40 days, Moses 40 days, Noah 40 days, Lent is 40 days. It's from here to there. So I won't, but they often, the recently deceased will contact us in those first 40 days. But at or after 40 days, do a dumb supper for your beloved. Dumb, make silent, not stupid. Like, and you could do it 40 years after Grandpa died. It doesn't matter, just so long as it's 40 days. Have a dinner for them. Invite all the living people you want, all the dead people you want. It's a dinner for the dead. You could set a place for them or a glass. Here's your glass, Grandpa, whatever. Talk about them. You have to do it backwards. You start with dessert. Remember the backwards thing. You start with dessert, and then you have your main course, and then you end up in your super salad course or appetizer. That shows the other side. Oh, this is my dinner. It's reverse. It's mirror image. So talk about them, the good, the bad. I miss you, good times, just like they were there, because they will be. Somewhere during the dinner, everybody goes silent for just a few minutes. In some cultures, some people do a dumb supper, the whole dinner silent. That doesn't work for most of us in our Western thing. And for me, it's better that we talk, go a few minutes of silence. And then that few minutes of silence, the deceased will talk to each one of you to your own ability or comfort level. You might feel something, might get goosebumps, might hear something, might get a sense of peace. And then you start talking again, going, oh, Grandpa showed me this, or I felt this, or I had this, or I saw something over the curtain move, whatever it is. But the most important thing at the end of the dinner, which means you're at the beginning of the dinner because you're up to super salad course, you have to say goodbye to their fleshly body. Because this is the one thing that doesn't survive. Spirit lives forever. Soul lives forever. Like you said, science proves that. Nothing, religion proves that. Spirituality, nothing can die. Plant becomes something else. It just changes. But missing, when you mourn too long, other than missing the fleshly body, you have to say goodbye to the meat suit. The meat suit goes away. And we try to hold on to it. It hurts us and it hurts the spirit a little bit. Because we have cords. We always talk about cords. I cut the cords, the strings attached. In living people, our cords are heart to heart. Again, like I said, no card to cut the story. Oh, my heartstrings pulled me in. When somebody dies, that has to be cut. And now they have to be a third eye cord. They have to be your spirit grandfather, not hooked to the meat suit that doesn't exist anymore, not the heart to heart. And then you could have a much better and deeper. You've probably already done that without having to have a dumb supper. You know, sometimes it just happens naturally, but somebody who's holding on to it too much and is not communicating with their deceased as much as they might like to, do a dumb supper, cut the cord. And now my spirit loved one, not my deceased loved one. They're not deceased, they're spirit. Third eye cord, not here.
Wow. Why do you think in our Western culture that we've gotten away from all of these things, all of these natural elements, things that have been passed down through centuries, through different cultures, that we have just like banished them all? I mean, I've spoken about this at exhaustion on the show, and the fact that like I crave actually living in a place like Europe or something that has more of these traditions or that has more of this connection to the way things were. And I'm not talking about like not having the technological advances. Like I love that. But but we just have gotten so far away from this connection.
Yeah, I mean, I am not a history buff, but we did that again. Like we were talking about that. Focus on left brain logic. The Industrial Revolution came in. All this stuff that part of it is control. Part of it is just the swing of the pendulum. And we are not a mystical society. We came in and took over from the Native Americans and brought these religions of what we were doing. Yeah, like where Asian culture still has mysticism, mystery. Go to Ireland, they believe in fairies. They will, if you're building a road, city built road, they will go around a fairy fort or a fairy mound. They take it seriously. America, no way. Now we're trying to, okay, that's native ground, make it sacred or wetlands, but we have a long way to go.
Yeah. Well, even, I mean, I just saw something the other day, like I said, I have really young kids and I came from California, not a religious upbringing. I moved to the South, very religious out here. My daughter goes to a Christian preschool and things like that, but we were talking about it the other day. My husband turned to me and said, because he grew up in Oregon and, both California and Oregon have gone very far in that, like, you can't say God, you can't do any, it's very separate, everything. And now we're living in a place where it is more prevalent. And so we said, I wonder if she'll be saying like the Pledge of Allegiance in school and things. And we were talking about like how far, like our country was founded on freedom of religion. We put the word God into all of our founding documents, yet we've gotten so far away from it now that it just, I don't care what you believe in, that missing piece. And like I said, I don't believe in an organized religion. I believe in all of it, actually. I think we are all saying the same thing. Like, it's just how your perception, how you're taking it in and what word you want to use for it. I don't care.
No, I don't either. It's a template. It is these basic truths. Again, I wasn't raised with any religion. My grandfather was a practically evangelical atheist and humanist, spoke against religion, but he knew religion. So I wasn't raised with it, but I would see the light in a church or a mosque or a synagogue, temple, park. I'd see this and I spent my life studying it. If you go to the universal truths of energy, light and dark, it doesn't matter if you call it Jesus or Buddha or Allah or science. There's just a template on the same basic truths. Yes, we put stories to everything, but you're right. We let go of the magic. And I believe religion is just there to be, to navigate. And some people do need traditional religion. Some people want to be told what to do. Personally, I don't. I want to know. I have a good sense of this is right and this is wrong, and you don't have to tell me. I do know right and wrong, and I do know what, and I'm going to take full responsibility for that. Therefore, I'm a witch. Again, I probably have more ethics and integrity than a lot of people religious, but not to just take responsibility for it. Like, we don't use word karma as a more Eastern word, but cause and effect. But yeah, we've gotten so far. But I do think, again, between science is crashing into and people wanting more because the times are scary. So whether you go because you want ghost adventures or ghost finders, and then, wow, ghosts are real, I want to go on a ghost hunt and then find some kind of a path, whatever you want to call it, source, aliens, God, Jesus, angels, lights, dragons, words.
Taylor Swift.
That's probably the God, right?
She's like the biggest God out there right now. So you're saying with religion, some people do need it. Like I keep going back to my first mentor, one of my very first mentors. She used to say, even when it came to religion, is like not do the cross because that shuts you off from source. Is that real?
I don't know. Oh, it's true if you believe it's true. And if you believe it opens you up for God, remember, intent is everything. They forget to tell us that too, is because your truth, like if you go to witchcraft, red is passion, pink is love. But if for you, purple is passion and green is love, your truth is your truth. Don't negate your truth for what somebody else tells you or what somebody wrote in a book, a holy book, a dictionary book, any book. So if she believes this, that's what's true for her. If somebody believes this is going to save me, guess what? That's going to save them. If somebody believes this is going to get me closer to God, that's what it will. Bring our power back. That's why I go, so I don't need all those other deities. I'm the deity. This is what I believe, so I have my truth.
So that's just us creating our own reality.
Mm-hmm. And we do every day. Every day.
Wow. So do you have any messages as we close out from Spirit right now that are coming through?
Just, again, I think Spirit just says, wake up. They have some beautiful things to say. Don't be fear-based. The world, again, especially modern culture, wants you fear-based, controlled by fear, or you'll do this. You know, our choices made by fear are rarely the best ones, unless it's somebody pointing a gun at you. Go in deep, trust your own intuition, discover, be silent for a minute to discover it. If that's a meditation, great. If you can't meditate, is that a walk in the park? Great. If that's you putting on some music, great. Just wake up. Wake up.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. How can we find you? How can we work on you? Where can we see you next? I know you have a lot of shows going on.
Everywhere. PattiNegri.com. My regular website is the best place to find, because please go to my social media, but there's a lot of fake me's. I do not contact people who try to sell you readings. So my literal verified ones, go to PattiNegri.com. From there, you can get to my YouTube page with tons of free education and classes. From there, you can get to my podcast, my weekly pack, The Witching Hour, where I have amazing guests, and I need to have you on, the inspiring guests every week from all around the world. You can get to my school, University Magicus, very affordable. I have 20 teachers, all different paths, but all positive magic and spirituality, starting at $10 a month. Online Zoom classes, people are all over the world and really fun. Or my network, Paraflix. If you like this sort of ghost hunting thing, it's like Netflix, but all paranormal. So watch me on Ghost Adventures. I just shot on one this week. I don't know when that'll be out. My most recent one was Scotty's Castle. We're on Discovery now. And my newest team that I love, Ghost Finders with Rob Thompson and Daniel Klass, is on my Paraflix. So I'm everywhere. So come join me, hang out. It's fun.
I love it. It is fun. I mean, this is just such a joy for me because, yeah, I talk about a lot of serious topics on the show sometimes, and, you know, finding our voice and understanding who we are from within. But like, there is this side of it that is like this intuitive side of us that is really fun and fascinating. And I just love that spirit world. So thank you so much for joining me today. I love this.
And thank you for this show and for what you do for everybody. This is what's needed. What you're doing is what's needed. So thank you.
Thank you. And that's it for today's Intentional Living with Courtney Meyers. Thank you so much for joining us. And thank you, Patti Negri, for the witchy conversation all around the paranormal, ghosts, intuition, and so much more. If you want to work with Patti or follow along on her journey, I'll put all the information in the show notes below. And as always, you can find Intentional Living with Courtney Meyers and Intentional Media on our website at CourtneyMyers.com. That's where you'll find our books, our courses, and everything else we have going on. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.